Why can't you be more like him? Mom asked for the 100th time. I grabbed my keys and left. I was done, completely done with being compared to my perfect brother Michael. 25 years of hearing how he was smarter, more successful, more responsible. 25 years of being the family disappointment. The cool evening air hit my face as I slammed the car door and cranked the engine. My hands shook on the steering wheel. I didn't even know where I was going, just away from that suffocating house where my identity had always been Michael's less impressive sister. My phone buzzed. Mom. I declined the call and tossed it onto the passenger seat. She'd be calling to apologize in her non-apology way. I'm sorry you're so sensitive, or I'm sorry you took it that way. Never actually sorry for the constant comparisons that had whittled away at my self-worth since childhood. I ended up at Hideaway, this dive bar on the edge of town where no one from my family's social circle would ever set foot. The kind of place with peanut shells on the floor and faded band posters on the walls. Perfect. The usual, Ellie? Jake, the bartender, asked as I slid onto a stool. Make it a double, I replied, dropping my purse on the counter. Jake raised an eyebrow, but poured me a generous whiskey without comment. That's why I liked him. No questions, no judgment. 3 drinks in, the familiar numbness had settled over me, dulling the edges of my anger. That's when I saw him walk in. James Porter, my brother's best friend since college. The Golden Boy Duo, Mom called them. Both lawyers at the same prestigious firm, both destined for greatness. James spotted me before I could decide whether to hide or leave. His surprise was evident as he made his way over. Ellie, what are you doing here? He looked around the bar like it was a foreign country. Drinking, I replied, raising my glass in a mock toast. Care to join the family disappointment? He winced. Don't say that. Why not? It's what everyone thinks. The whiskey had loosened my tongue. Ellie, who couldn't finish college. Ellie, who changes jobs every 6 months. Ellie, who can't be more like Michael. James signaled Jake for a drink. Your family doesn't understand you, that's all. I laughed. And you do? More than you think. He took the seat beside me. You know, I've always envied your freedom. Freedom? I scoffed. Is that what we're calling failure these days? Not failure. Courage. James leaned closer. Do you know how terrified I am every day? Following this path that was laid out for me since birth? Law school, corporate firm, partner track? I've never once chosen anything for myself. I studied his face, trying to spot the lie. James Porter had everything. Looks, money, success, my mother's approval. But his eyes held something I recognized all too well. The quiet desperation of someone living someone else's dream. Why are you here, James? I asked. He sighed, swirling the amber liquid in his glass. Michael's engagement party is tomorrow. I know, I'm supposed to be there. Mom's big chance to parade her children in front of her friends. At least one of them turned out right. I drained my glass. Michael asked me to be his best man. And you said yes, obviously. I said I needed to think about it. That surprised me. Why? James looked at me directly then, his expression complicated. Because I've been in love with the wrong person for years, and watching them marry someone else might actually kill me. My alcohol-addled brain took a moment to process his words. Wait, you're in love with Shannon? He laughed, a hollow sound. No, Ellie, not Shannon. The realization hit me slowly, then all at once. Michael, you're in love with my brother? James nodded, his knuckles white around his glass. Does he know? God, no. And he never will. James rubbed his face. Your brother is many things, but open-minded about sexuality isn't one of them. You know that. I did know. I'd heard Michael's casual homophobic remarks over the years, seen how he treated our cousin after he came out. This stays between us, James said quietly. Please. Something shifted inside me. A plan, taking shape in the corners of my mind. A terrible, perfect plan. What if there was a way, I said slowly, to show everyone who Michael really is? James looked alarmed. What do you mean? My brother has spent his entire life making me feel worthless, making others feel worthless too, apparently. My heart was racing now. Maybe it's time someone returned the favor. Ellie, no, whatever you're thinking. I'm not going to out you, I assured him. But Michael's carefully constructed image? His perfect life? What if we could make him feel, just for a moment, what it's like to be the family disappointment? James was silent for a long time. What are you suggesting? I leaned forward, the beginnings of a smile forming on my lips. I have access to his laptop when he's home. I know some of his passwords, and I happen to know he's been cutting ethical corners at work to fast-track his career. How do you know that? I overheard him talking to Dad. Something about client information he shouldn't have had access to. Dad laughed it off. That's how the game is played, son. James's expression darkened. That could get him disbarred. Exactly. Or at least severely damage his reputation. I could see James wrestling with his conscience. Think about it. All those years of him making you feel like you had to hide who you really are. All those times he's belittled people who didn't meet his standards. This is serious, Ellie. This isn't just a prank. Neither is spending your life being told you're not good enough. My voice cracked unexpectedly. Neither is loving someone who would hate you if he knew the truth. James stared into his drink for what seemed like forever. When he looked up, his expression had hardened. I can get more specific information from the firm, things that would be impossible to explain away. A thrill ran through me. So you're in. I'm not doing this for revenge, he clarified. I'm doing this because your brother has hurt people, because he would continue to hurt people as he gains more power. Call it whatever you want, I said, clinking my glass against his. Justice, karma, consequences. What about your parents? This will devastate them. I thought about my mother's face earlier that evening. Why can't you be more like him? Maybe it was time she asked herself that question about her perfect son. They'll survive, I said. They always do. As James and I began plotting in hushed tones, I felt something I hadn't in years. Power. Control. For once, I wasn't just reacting to the script my family had written for me. I was writing my own. The next night, dressed in the conservative blue dress my mother had picked out for Michael's engagement party, I walked into my parents' house with a USB drive in my purse and vengeance in my heart. Ellie, you're late, Mom hissed, pulling me inside. Everyone's already here. Try to make a good impression, please. I smiled, a real smile that seemed to startle her. Don't worry, Mom. Tonight's going to be unforgettable. And as I moved through the crowd toward my brother, who stood tall and proud with his arm around his fiancée, I felt calm. The kind of calm that comes from knowing exactly what you want and being willing to burn everything down to get it.